What is the greatest comeback to an insult you've ever heard? Joe Pine interviewing Frank Zappa. Joe, I guess your long hair makes you a woman. Afs, I guess your wooden leg makes you a table. How does a dude named Pine have a wooden leg? What if it has mahogany or oak? My grandparents used to bicker. My grandmother generally came out on top, as she was fierier. One time though, she was asking him to do a bunch of stuff, and he muttered, "If you lose some weight, you could do it yourself." She fixed her gaze on him and glowered. "I am thinking of getting rid of about 200 pounds of useless fat immediately." He replied, "You're going to cut off your foot." Men, nobody bickers like old married couples bicker. They've had decades to perfect their craft. Saw a clip of a stand-up comedian the other day, and he says something along the lines of, "The first time I had sex, it was terrible. The first time I had sex." And a woman chimes in with, "You mean yesterday?" Crowd laughs for a while, and while the comedian is waiting for them to calm down, you can see the gears turn in his head. Once it gets down to basically a few chuckles, he just says, "Glad you remember," and the crowd just lost their shit. It was amazing. Okay, now we need the source of this clip. I used to work with this 70-year-old woman. She was our supervisor, and one day one of the ladies who worked with us told this old lady to kiss my ass, and the old lady replied, "Where do I start? You raise so fat your crack goes all the way up your back." One of my coworkers was cold calling customers, trying to get appointments to drum up business. One of them told him to go fuck his hand, and he responded with, "I've got that penciled in for 3. I should be done by 4 if you'd like to come in for an appointment then." The guy left his ass off and ended up coming in for the appointment. I was the one insulted, but not the one with the comeback. I was out with a coworker and her friends, and my buddy and I were leaving a little too early for her sensibilities. She jokingly got up in my face and said, "Smell that? Smells like pussy." A guy playing at the pool table next to us stepped forward and said, "I am sorry, that must be me. I just ate. It was amazing." My grandma asked my cousin, who had lots of partners and 2 kids at this point, if she was ever going to get married. "Cousin, it's not the same nowadays. We don't buy cars without test driving them first." Grandma, "Yeah, but they don't let you put 100,000 miles on them either." A friend in high school on our way to a track meet. He was staring at a car in the parking that was really nice, when this bag saw him. "Bag? Why bothering looking at that when you know you'll never be able to get one?" My friend, "The same reason you watch porn." The entire bus erupted, and it is still one of the funniest things I've ever heard. During World War I, Switzerland had a tiny standing army, but they were very skilled marksmen. Wilhelm II of Germany asked what 250,000 Swiss troops would do if he decided to invade with 500,000 German troops. The Swiss said, "Shoot twice and go home." And that, good sir, is how getting Swiss cheese got the definition we know today. I was a camp counselor for a few years at a summer camp. One day my group took a hike to a large rock where we had lunch. My campers were between 8 and 10 years old. This one kid we call Jeff keeps poking another kid we call Matt in my group to look at this hole in the rock. It is so cool. It is 6 inches deep, and the other kid is clearly getting annoyed just trying to eat his lunch. He keeps shoving sticks into the hole and trying to get everybody to look at it. Finally Matt just puts down his sandwich, looks at Jeff, and goes, "I'll be 6 inches deep in your mom later if you don't shut up." I was trying so hard to be stern with this kid for saying something so inappropriate, but I kept cracking up. It was just such a disproportionately ridiculous thing to say coming from a 9-year-old. 18th century British radical politician John Wilkes was told in Parliament by a political opponent, "Sir, I do not know whether you will die on the gallows or of the pox." Wilkes shot back with, "That depends, my lord, on whether I embrace your lordship as principles or your mistress." He is basically calling dude a scumbag and saying his girl is a dirty hoe.